What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Blaise here over at the Blue Chip Athletic Club podcast, coming to you today is May the 1st, 2026. I hope you guys are enjoying your day whenever you're listening to this. Recording this episode here as kind of like a new thing that I'm going to try to do year over year. Today happens to be my birthday, and I'm going to try and give you guys a little, I don't know, maybe we'll call the episode 31 lessons for 31 years or whatever the case becomes. But we're going to keep kind of throwing these things out there into the world, and maybe you guys enjoy it, maybe you don't. But at the end of the day, it'll be kind of a way for me to document a little bit of my own journey here, which, selfishly is kind of a reason that this podcast exists as well, as we continue to learn, grow, and develop, every single day. So before I get kind of going here, I want to shout out our affiliates and partners, First Form, Sweet Perfections, Cookies. Those guys have been awesome, being able to support us and challenges that we're doing and giveaways and all those types of things. So thank you guys. We've got Log 10 and Pilot Base, the only digital flight logbook that I use for all of my flying needs. Dash Track, which is our website partner. They're coming out with a bunch of new awesome ways to optimize SEO and artificial intelligence that honestly I don't even truly understand, as somebody who flies planes and teaches people how to eat a little bit better for a living. And build different mastermind community. Those guys who have helped me kind of level up my business from day one to finding kind of what I'll say my true consistency is, and the amount of effort, energy, time, effort, all those things kind of built around my life, which has been a challenge, in the past 4 or 5 years of entrepreneurship, figuring out kind of how I can do this for the long haul and sustain it. And then, really truly speak to the people that I want to help and help them along the way. Hopefully this episode, like I said before, kind of helps you guys out as well. Let me crack this puppy open here as we kind of get going. Again, I know I said it earlier, but this is 31 life lessons on my 31st birthday. Now, just so you all know, I typed all of these up literally 2 minutes ago, and just kind of blasted them off until I got to 31. So they're in no particular order. And I would say that each year, I think I'm just going to save this document and then kind of save over and add something else, so we can kind of readdress and chat about a new perspective on them. But here we go. Number 1, don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Man, the only reason that I am a health coach is because I had the courage to walk into a Mon Pod gym. Shout out to Urban Flex and Flow, some business mentors, and honestly, fitness, health, and wellness mentors of mine, being in Heather Hara, to give me a job coaching in a gym, group fitness, and taking a chance on somebody who had no certifications and truly no background in group fitness, and really just kind of took a chance on me from, I guess that was, 6-7 years ago at this point. So really thank you guys for that, I guess, first of all. And then second of all, like, for the rest of you guys out there that are thinking about, doing something, putting yourself out there, talking to someone, connecting with somebody else, whatever the thing is, people for the most part are pretty kind and good. And I would like to think that they're not going to turn you down and turn you away. The fear of rejection or the fear of some of those things happening can sometimes really get in the way of making it to where we want to be. So number 2, courage comes after you do the thing, not before it. This was incredibly prevalent in my latest health/fitness challenge that I just did. And not to belabor this, but essentially what happened yesterday for a team workout here in our small group training is we decided that we were going to do a plate / farmer's carry challenge. So the way it shook out, and I'll loop this back to courage in a second. You had to carry 45 pounds in each hand for a mile. Every time you drop the weight, you had to return to your starting point and then go back to where your weight is and continue the carry. And the way that you went back is you were running back and forth from your start to your end point. I decided that I was a glutton for punishment, and I honestly kind of wanted to truly push and challenge myself, and I was a little afraid to do so. One, because I'm coaching other people that are looking to improve in health and wellness. So who am I to challenge people with something and have them do it with me and not be able to do it myself, And two, to kind of just remind myself that things are hard and there's opportunities to kind of level up all the time. So I took the road less traveled, and I tried this challenge with two 45-pound bumper plates in either hand. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with them, but essentially just a full cylinder kind of normal plate. There's just a hole in the middle for the barbell, and then the rest of it is like completely solid. So I had to either put my fingers into the holes and carry them like so, or I had to like put my hands up under the barbell or under the plates and kind of walk with them kind of like so, for the full mile. I made it, a long time. The only way that I rested, the plates never hit the ground. The only way that I rested is that the plates were on my lap as I held like a deep squat. So, um, and to be completely honest, it took me like 37 minutes to do, but the plates never hit the ground. And about halfway and about 3/4 of the way, and even, a couple times on that final stretch, I thought there was a few times where I was going to drop the weights. They were slipping around, and I had to make a courageous, save to make it happen. But what I'll say is like, I was unsure if I was going to be able to do that. But after I finished it, I felt this kind of sense of relief and kind of like, wow, we can do some truly hard things. It gives me a little bit of courage to try another challenge, to try and push another thing that I truly think that I may not be able to do. And I knew that I would finish that challenge. I didn't know that I would finish the challenge without dropping the weights a single time and holding 45 pounds in my hands for 35, 37 minutes. So don't be afraid. Courage is something that's going to be on your side. But again, you're not courageous before you jump out of the airplane. You kind of get that after the fact. All right. Number 3, probably one of my favorite ones. Nobody has life figured out. And if they act like they do, run the other way, because they're probably full of shit. The reality is there's a lot of people out there that claim to, they've got their finances in order, or their personal life, or maybe their job, whatever that thing is. And yeah, the reality is like everybody is struggling to do something or to get somewhere or to understand the greater picture, to improve in their health, maybe to do something that's different. And anybody who's truly successful still will struggle with anything. I mean, I know incredibly successful coaches and people that struggle with imposter syndrome, and they're like, I don't know why people are paying me to do these things. I've struggled with that, and a number of times as well. And I think if it kind of makes you human, and to be honest, like nobody is above that. I think eventually it catches up to kind of everybody. You see celebrities, and not to get like morbid or kind of like depressing, but like there's some of the most successful people in the world can be the most depressed and sad, or even go so far as to like take their own life because of how their lifestyle has kind of pinned them into a box. Or they're still working on their things, but they feel so much societal pressure to kind of have it all in a sock and have it all figured out. So just remember, nobody's got it all figured out. When somebody asks you and you're 18-year-old kid or something like that, like, what do you want to do for work and whatever, the answer is and can always be like, I don't know. I want to have fun. I want to continue to enjoy the stuff that I'm doing. And for me personally, When the day comes, if the day comes that this business isn't fun, it'll close down shop and you won't ever hear from me again, bro. That's the reality. So, yeah, if nobody's got life figured out. Number 4, this too shall pass, the good and the bad. Yeah, man, this is, if you kind of like if you're going through hell, keep on going, man. And then if you're riding a high, strap in, because life is probably going to come and punch you in the stomach or kick you in the balls if you're not ready for it. So just realizing, hey, all these things will pass. Maybe the thing that's coming is good, and maybe it's bad. Maybe it's a blend of both, which truly is where I feel like life kind of lives. But at the end of the day, you're going to end up getting through what you're getting through, coming out on the other side, hopefully stronger, and with a new sense of kind of hindsight being 2020, and being kind of thankful, and even having some gratitude for those things. Number 5, find out who matters to you, and tell them that you love them. This is something that I feel like it took me a long time to kind of realize that I should do more of. Maybe it's because, like, as a kid, you're like, oh, kind of cast it aside. But reminding people that are in your life that are important to you that you love them, I think, is just incredibly important, because there may come a day where you can't. And that's the harsh reality. Actually, there will come a day when you can't, whether it's by your doing or theirs. Take an opportunity to say it to somebody. Maybe today's a day that you're listening to this podcast and you're like, hey, I haven't told my sister or my brother. I'll take this as an opportunity to shout out to my brother if he ever listens to it. Talon, I love you. Maybe I'll do that every year. I'll just pick a new person. Maybe you'll get a shout out if you end up listening to this. We'll see if he ever does. Give him a code word. Maybe that code word will be banana. If I ever hear or get a random text that says banana, I'll figure that out. All right. Number 6, you rarely regret the things you do. Most of the time, you end up regretting the things that you didn't do or the chance you didn't take. And I'll say, like, in my own personal experience, I've been kind of hit with this a handful of times. I'll give a quick story. When the COVID pandemic was just about to kick off, and obviously I didn't know that this was going to happen, I had a lot of time where I could kind of do a lot of travel with my work situation. So I decided I was going to sell my car and I was going to buy an adventure van. So I drive out. I had just gotten out of a relationship. I decided I'm going to do this like cross country road trip. I bought an adventure van. I'm driving out, and a couple weeks after the road trip kicked off, I found out that my trip would be cut short because of the COVID pandemic. And I had to drive home and kind of like pack it in, and then, return to what I'll call real life and in the work life, and waiting for the next phase of my, at that time, naval flight training program. To this day, I don't regret selling my car and doing that and buying the van and kind of going for it. I think, though, that if I didn't do that, I would be sitting here thinking like, man, what if I did that? What if I gave it a shot? Because I still had an awesome time being able to travel over there with my dog, and seeing like a part of the world, at the time that I really needed to see. So don't forget, take the chance. Don't be afraid. At the end of the day, and I'll get to this one too. The failure is just going to be feedback. All right. Number 7, strength is never weakness, and weakness is never a strength. I think this is pretty self-explanatory, but you have never seen somebody who's incredibly strong and thought that they would, be weak in some other part of their life. If you're physically strong, if you're mentally strong, those things are only going to benefit you. So continue to build those things, callus those muscles, find a way to dig in and push and improve, because that strength is going to be something that can kind of carry you through difficult times. You know, finding meaning and being able to make something of your path at the end of the day. People lean on strength in a bunch of different ways. So if you're the strong person that can be there for your life, for your family, for your friends, it's going to be incredibly important. Number 8, knowledge is power, but action is change. This is one of my favorite ones in here too. Maybe I'm going to end up saying that a bunch today. And like I said, I typed these up in about 5 minutes. So we'll see if we end up editing the list over the years. Maybe we won't. There's a lot of knowledge at your fingertips nowadays in the year 2026. Artificial intelligence, Google, YouTube, to learn almost anything that you can think about in life. Excuse me. And the reality is, in health and wellness, at least, we're the most overweight, we're the least active, and yet we have the most access to information. So in this era of life, I don't think that in the human race, like our problem is knowledge or access to it. It's our inability to act. It's the paralysis by analysis. It's people relying on themselves or their own motivation or other things to make true change, when that's not the way it works. Action is what's going to drive that. Action is the only thing that's going to change your path. Until you do something different, everything is going to remain exactly how it is. Remember that, your action is going to drive your change. The knowledge is great and it's going to be super helpful to have. But, I know a lot of doctors that are incredibly overweight and, diabetic as well. So you can be the smartest guy in the room, but that doesn't necessarily matter if you can't put it to practice. Number 9, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This one's interesting, man. I don't think I saw this as much as a kid, probably until I was in like high school, and I thought that this truly started to kind of come out. Your circle and your crowd is incredibly important. Rising tides raise all ships, and anchors will end up weighing you down, bro. Like, the reality is, if people aren't kind of benefiting to you and you're not, seeing that return from people's energy, or, the way that they help, or the way that they act, you got to realize, like, you're going to be the average of those 5 people. And that, if you look around and see who those people are and you're okay with that, then great. But if you're not, then you can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. And what I mean by that is, you can choose to be around different people, but you can't change Tommy, who is always gonna, act in X, Y, or Z way, or graffiti houses, or whatever the thing becomes. So, be aware that you can always change your circle. Let's see, number 10. We don't rise to the level of our ability. We fall to the consistency of our habits. I honestly just came up with this one. I'm not even gonna lie. And I'm not to toot my own horn, but today I feel like that was a pretty good one. There's people that have immense capability and ability, right? But at the end of the day, like, those motivations and those things and your natural God-given talent is only going to take you so far. It's about showing up, and it's about showing up over and over and over again. This podcast, what an excellent example. I read somewhere that if you record more than 10 podcasts, you're in the top like 95, or the number was insane. And maybe you can fact check. But you're in the very top tier of podcasters because you just decided to continue to show up. We're on episode, I believe, 121 with this one. Who knows when and if I decide to ever stop. But I'm going to keep beating the drum, man. It's the same thing, same way that I am with health and wellness. I mean, the only reprieve that I'll say, like, in my own life, that I truly have, and is just like, I'm resilient, bro. Like, I will not give up. I will outlast. I will keep moving. I will keep trying, over and over and over again until I win. And I just have that non-quit-ill mentality. For better, for worse, I'm kind of like a dog with a bone like that. So, that habit, and if you're able to kind of build that into your life in some way, it doesn't have to be a serial killer style of mindset, like you're in Rocky and you're doing your thing, but it has to be some amount of habit that you're like, yep, these habits are going to be the thing that kind of carry me forward. And these are the things that are going to shape the rest of my life for the better, ideally. Let's see. Number 11. Someone else is praying for the things you take for granted. I want to preface this one with I'm not a religious person. You know, I think like everybody has their own thought of, whether you believe in God or unicorn tears or, the Dalai Lama or, your Hindu gods, whatever the thing is. At the end of the day, like there's going to be, if I can give the analogy of everybody in the world is sitting in a circle and you take your worst problem and you throw it in the middle of the circle. And then we play like a musical chairs game and everybody's running in and picking problems out of the middle. I would say like 99% of people are going to run to their own problems before they take somebody else's, especially if the year is 2026. You have access to an iPhone. You've got, thousands of dollars worth of access. I mean, you drive a car, you have a house, you have a family. Kind of comes back to that gratitude thing a little bit, like understanding that everybody's got some problems and someone else is kind of praying to have your problems, that if you have a roof over your head, food on the table, and a warm bed and a shower to take, you're probably doing all right. So it actually leads me to number 12, which is gratitude is a powerful thing. Being grateful for the people that are around you or the things that you do have, instead of the kind of keeping up with the Joneses kind of mentality of, hey, and always wanting and needing to have more or, whatever that thing is. Like take a second and, maybe it's a daily habit. But I really, think that it goes a long way if you're able to take some gracious approach to your life. You can say, maybe you decide that you're going to text somebody that you care about once a day and be like, hey man, I'm grateful for you. I'm thankful for you. Maybe you write it in a journal and you're like, hey, these are 3 things I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for my dog or my car or my health or whatever the thing is. I mean, there's something that like rewires brain chemistry to make you like infinitely better, have a better mood, and just perform better when you have that capability to be grateful for the things that you have, instead of focusing on the things that you don't. Number 13, sorry. The 2 most powerful words in the English language are I am. Whew, yeah, this is a good one. It kind of gets into identity, right? Like identity of who you are. If you meet somebody and you're starting to talk to them and you're like, hey, what are you? Or, tell me about yourself. And someone's like, oh, I am a parent. I am a husband or a spouse. I am a pilot. I'm a coach. I'm a whoever. That's like your identity. That's who you like identify as to your core. And when you're starting to put those things out there into the world and truly believe that and down to your core, actions, habits, and those things kind of follow that. So let's say you're somebody who's looking to make a health change, right? And you're like, oh, hey, I really want to make a health change. I don't know really where to start. Starting with the words, I am a healthy person, could be an incredibly beneficial place to start. Because if you look at the world from the lens of somebody who in your mind is a healthy person, you can probably start to see some flaws in the things that you've been doing over time that have made you an unhealthy person and made you have to kind of make this super shift in your life to be able to change. So think through that. Think about, I am a pilot. I am a caretaker. I am kind. I am hardworking. I am like whatever your adjective or thing becomes. That's what you tell yourself, which is the most important thing on planet Earth, is making sure that you're kind of having that dialogue with yourself and you know who your identity and who you are to your core, and having that I am statement and and knowing truly who you are at your core is just super important. So number 14, you have the most time in your life that you'll ever have in this moment. So make the most of it. That is true whether you're 2 years old or whether you're 92 years old. The past is the past. You can't change it. You can't alter it. What you can do though is you can make the most of the time that we do have left on this planet with the people that you love and doing things that you like. So at the end of the day, that's what it's truly about. And you don't want to be the person who's regretting, missing out on some time, effort, or being around people because you didn't have take advantage of that moment. This is the most amount of time you got, dude. Father Time's coming for you, regardless of if you think so. He's coming. He never loses. Number 15, kindness is free. I really like this. I think in the year 2026, there's a lot of culture, and I'm going to scroll down here. There's a lot of culture in life that's kind of looking to get a reaction out of you. Whether it's the news, whether it's social media, whatever the thing is, like, it's one of those things that you can always approach somebody with kindness. And it's something that's free to do, costs you nothing. And people are going to appreciate it too. There's something to be said about somebody who attacks, situations with kindness, meets people, is not going to be judgmental and is able to take that in and be a light, if you will, versus peering on somebody's Cheerios, So kindness is free. It costs $0. Don't be a dick. It's pretty simple. Number 16, you can't tell people, adults primarily, what to do. Oh, this is a fun one. For any of you coaches out there that are listening to this, I'm sure you know. Anybody else who is in adult learning in some way, I'm sure you know this as well. You can't tell people what to do because it's not going to work for them, or they're not going to hear you, or people are kind of rooted in the things they think and believe, and that's kind of built and predicated on their past, which I'm no different. I'm trying to continually be better about it. But at the end of the day, adult learning and people learning in general, they have to truly come to it on their own. They have to have that aha moment. They have to, go through the shit to find their way to the other side. I've been that way. That's why I was 230 pounds, 1 pound away from getting the boot from naval flight training, or at least delayed in naval flight training for not being able to fly the plane that I was going to fly because I was too heavy for the ejection seat. You have to come to that moment. You have to come to hey, this is not okay anymore, and I need to now do something different. And somebody else could have told me that before, but am I going to listen to somebody else? Probably not, because obviously, why would you? Because you know everything. I feel like every year I'm on the planet, maybe this is number 32 for next year. Like, I'm just getting dumber and dumber because I just find out more and more like how little I truly know, which is super humbling. So at the end of the day, like, you can't tell people what they're going to do or what to do. You can only help kind of guide them to come to the conclusions on their own. And that's something that my fellow coaches hopefully can resonate with. Number 17, this is a hard one, especially for people like me. Not everybody is going to like you. Yeah, dude, this is tough, man. I will say I enjoy being liked, maybe not for the external validation, but just for the fact that I like to think that I'm a likable person. But at the end of the day, there's going to be people that don't like me. And that's something that I am continually trying to be better about being okay with, and knowing that that's not a fault of mine. It's not something that I can truly change, but it is something that I can acknowledge and be okay with, and move on, and know that it's not going to change my day, bro. Like, if somebody decides that they don't like me, it's probably for the best. Our energy probably isn't going to clash, or it would clash like pretty hard. And I've got to accept that and kind of take that in stride and continue to put out my message regardless. And that's what you guys need to do too. because again, not everybody's gonna like you, and it's kind of the way it is. Number 18. People don't always remember the things you say or do, but they always remember the way you make them feel. I really like this one too. And the reason is because I, as human beings, I think that we underestimate the amount of bandwidth and capability we have to attach feelings to things, which is pretty interesting. If I were to tell you like, oh, I met this guy named Joe, and maybe I don't remember a single thing about what Joe and I talked about, but I remember Joe just made me feel really small or really upset about something. I'm always going to think Joe is kind of a dick. But conversely, if I met Sally and Sally makes me feel seen and valued and talks to me like, an equal and is inquisitive or whatever the thing is and gets to know you, you're always going to know. Maybe you don't remember what you and Sally talked about, but you do remember that she made you feel good. And that is going to change the way that you perceive her for the rest of your life. So remember, people aren't always going to remember what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. Number 19, the single most important word in the English language to a person is their name. Yeah. So I have a kind of uncanny gift. For the people that do know me and listen to this, you may know that I'm good at this. I don't say I'm good at very many things, to be honest with you, but I'm very good with names. And I don't necessarily know why, but I find that it is really important for people in the world that you know their name, because if you can't remember somebody's name after having a conversation with them for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, like how are you gonna be able to care, or how do they feel like that you care about them? If you can't remember somebody's name, which is fundamental in communication in some way, they don't think that you care. They don't think that you want to know about their spouse or their kids or whatever the thing is. It's like if you didn't take the time, the effort and energy and attention to do so, I think it really is just telling if you're a leader in some way and you're not able to get to know somebody by knowing their first name or knowing their partner's name or knowing their kids' names or their hobbies. Because at the end of the day, like it's more important to have that relationship with somebody so that, maybe it's in the workplace or maybe it's you need something for them, that develops trust. It develops a working relationship, a friendship, and those things are truly foundational, in my opinion, to effective leadership, to moving the needle forward, to being part of a team. It's just super, super critical. So if you don't know how to remember people's names, I honestly think it's an important skill to learn and grow and develop in. Number 20, health is wealth. Yeah, nice, short, sweet, and to the point. Yeah, I've started to think about this more and more, and maybe it's because I am in my third decade on planet Earth now, or I've been, I guess, for a year now. I don't think, if you were to say like, hey, dude, you can either be 80 and dance at your 80th birthday, or you can be 80 in a wheelchair and I'll give you $100 million. I'll say to fuck your $100 million. I don't want it, dude. I don't want it. I don't want to be the person who's overworked and sitting in a wheelchair and regretting the fact that I never trained or took care of myself or my family. And I have to watch, kids or grandkids play and not be able to do that with them. The health as you age is just so critical to me, and it's something that you need to invest in, and you need to do it now. And if you don't, you're going to feel the effects of that when you're older. I've never have I heard somebody who is in their like mid to late years and regretted the amount of movement that they had. Oh, I'm so upset. I wish I wasn't this mobile. I wish I wasn't this strong. I wish I couldn't play sports. I wish I couldn't do whatever. But the opposite is always true. Oh, I wish I didn't work as much so that I could have trained. Oh, I wish I could get on and off the floor with my grandkids, but I can't. Oh, my knee hurts and I wish I would have addressed it sooner. Or, hey, my back is, there's a million different reasons. But at the end of the day, your health is incredibly key. You were given one car, bro. When you're born, you get one car. And you got to keep that car good for your entire life. You got to do the routine oil change. You got to rotate the tires. You got to drain the fluids. You got to do all those things. And if you don't do that, Father Time's coming for you, dude. And Father Time's coming quicker for you. And the quality of those years at the end of your life is just going to be, go downhill. And that's something you got to come to. Again, you can't tell anybody what to do. You got to come to that decision on your own to make that shift. All right. Number 21, failure is feedback. I think I alluded to this one a little bit earlier. Just because you fail at something, maybe the goal was lofty, maybe it was unrealistic. Thinking about that failure as a failure versus thinking about it as feedback is a thing that's going to kind of derail a journey, whether it's in health, whether it's in learning to fly a plane, whether it's in going to be a doctor. Like, could you imagine, paint it this way. Could you imagine if a kid, when they were learning how to walk, tried to stand up and they fell and then they just gave up for their entire life on learning how to walk? Like, come on, dude. Like, foundationally, like, there's no way, because they're seeing everybody else walk around them like, oh my gosh, look, this is possible. I'm going to learn how to do this. And, their brain doesn't even know how to formulate thoughts truly. And they're able to do that. Like, it's just feedback. It's just, hey, I got too much pressure on this leg and not enough on this leg. And you're able to kind of figure it out. It's like first pancake syndrome, dude. When have you ever woken up on a Saturday or Sunday morning to make pancakes and the first one was perfect? I'll tell you, I've never done that. They've always been ugly. They've been ugly. They've been overcooked, undercooked, whatever the thing comes. Like, they're always bad. But as you start to make more and more of them, you get your groove, you learn your new burner or your stove, and you figure it out. And then first pancake syndrome goes away because you just get more practice and you figure it out. And maybe you were storming, norming, and then performing, baby. Come on. All right. Number 22, smell the roses. This is something that's really hard for my high achievers out there, for my people that are grinders, for my gym rats, for my pilots who like to get after it, for my, for the high achievers in general. I'll say it in blanket statement to repeat myself. It's hard to sometimes kind of be present and appreciate how far you've come. And not just kind of continually have your head locked on the next goal. And that's kind of like a sad way to live a little bit. If you're just so focused on the next thing, you're so insatiable that you can't kind of get there. It can get really lonely. It can get sad. Trust me, I've been there in this business, in my flying career, and all those things. I think there's times to push and press and just, gut it out and grind it out and do hard things. That there's a real thing, and there's some power to that, but there's also some power to sitting back and realizing how far you've come and being appreciative of that and celebrating that, because it's always going to be important that you do that. Let's see what we got next. Number 23. Understand what is within your sphere of control and what is not, and focus on what's in your sphere of control. Maybe I'll condense that. Understand what is within your sphere of control and focus on that. How about that? That's a little bit better. So what is in your sphere of control? The things you can directly affect. If I start getting wrapped around the axle about politics and I'm not a politician, or the weather and I am not Mother Nature, or whatever these things are, and I let those things stress me out and bring me anxiousness and anxiety or whatever it is, you're focusing on the wrong stuff, dude. You're focusing on the things that you can't change. Why not focus on the things you can? Go out and get 10,000 steps today. Go and take 20 minutes to go do a workout. Go and make somebody smile at work by being kind to them, by go learn somebody's name and make their day. Like there's a ton of different things that you can do in your life to kind of grab it by the balls, for lack of a better term. And if we're always just focusing on the shit we can't control, like it's a pretty miserable way to live. So think about the things you can control. Think about the people in your circle that you can touch, and focus on those things, because the politics, the weather, all those things are going to happen either way, and you got to kind of learn to roll with the punches. All right, number 24. This is for my nutrition coaches out there, or people that are looking to make a health change in general. If the food is in your house, you will eat it. This is John Berardi, who's the founder of Precision Nutrition. This is like his first rule. If you're somebody who struggles to not eat junk food, well, if you don't buy it and it's not in your house, you're not going to eat it. So realizing that that's a real thing. If you're looking to make a health change, just changing what you're buying is going to be a huge step in the right direction. And it sounds simple because it is, but simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. I think it's incredibly challenging still to do. So remember that. Number 25, the ball finds energy. This one I have to shout out my friend, fellow lacrosse coach, and honestly a mentor of mine too, Frank Resiteritz. Shout out to you, man. I should really have him on the podcast, honestly. But one day we're there coaching lacrosse when I was living in California. And he used to say this thing. He used to say the ball finds energy. And what he means by that is when you're an athlete and you have energy, the ball in lacrosse or in basketball or whatever the sport is, it tends to just find you because you're full of energy, you're moving, you're hustling, you're doing those things. And those players stand out, and those players kind of, they get fed, squeaky wheel finds grease. And in life, that's the same way, man. The ball finds energy. Like people find energy. Energy is huge in the pursuit of the next thing, or that promotion, or whatever the thing becomes. So be the ball of energy. Make sure that you're able to do that and sustain that and find a way to have the energy to do so, and you'll see some things turn around. Number 26, you don't have to, you get to. And this is about choosing your attitude. So if I every single day woke up and thought that I had to work out, or I had to go for a run, or I had to coach other people to improve their health, I think it'd be a pretty miserable way to live. I get to do those things. Those are things I get to do. I get to move my body because you know what? I'm grateful that I'm not stuck in a wheelchair and unable to lift weights or run or move or play sports or do all of those things or fly planes. I'm grateful that I, didn't lose an arm or a leg, or I have a fully, functioning brain that I can, bring and create and have a community of people that live all over the world that train with us. Those are things that you get to do. And if you change your mentality and change the things that you say to yourself from I have to I get to, it makes things more enjoyable. You're doing shit with a smile, and you're able to kind of sustain on the path for a little bit longer. So you get to choose your attitude. Number 27, there are two types of people, thermometers and thermostats. Be a thermostat. This is another one that I think kind of goes in line with the last, and I'll tell you why. The thermometer in life is reacting. If it gets hot outside, the thermometer is only telling you that it's hot. If it gets cold outside, the thermometer is only telling you that it's cold. But what a thermostat does is when it gets hot outside, it turns on the AC to keep it at an even 72 degrees. And conversely, when it gets super cold, the thermostat turns the heat on. And it's able to, again, keep it at that even 72 degrees. You're reacting to your environment, and you're making a shift and creating an input to change your state and change where you're headed. This kind of goes with like a lot of things that we talked about today is like, hey, if I'm going in this direction, and something happens and life kicks me in the balls, like you can choose how to respond. You can always choose the response that you have to the adversity that you're faced with. And if you're a thermostat, you're able to choose. And there are times where I act as a thermometer as well, but more and more that I can lean into acting like a thermostat, the better. Number 28, be a fountain, not a drain. This is an awesome analogy too. And maybe I've got the house analogies here rolling as I round out the last couple on this list. Being a fountain is like being a fountain of energy, being an additive factor to somebody's life. You're giving, you're there. You're not somebody who's just bringing the mood down all the time. Those are the drains, bro. The people, the people that are optimistic are the fountains. The pessimists, the ones that are always, upset or frustrated or, get pissed off super easily. You can feel it, their energy, their aura, whatever it wants to be. Those types of people, those dudes. And if you can be more of a fountain, I think, again, it kind of goes back to the ball finding energy. You get to be the positive energy for somebody else. And you get to be that fountain for other people. And find the people that are fountains for you too, because it sucks to be around people that are drains, dude. I've been there. And going back to you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. If you're spending time with a bunch of drains, you're probably going to end up being a drain. Like that's also the rule too. So, think about that too. But obviously I can't tell you what to do. Number 29, the more you give, the more you get. This is really funny. I don't know how many people, believe in karma or whatever the thing is, but I feel like I do, I guess, because of this. I always have felt that the more that I end up giving away for free, giving away in general in life, the more you get. And maybe it's not financial, but it could be energy wise. It could be a moral boost. It could make you feel good. That there's been a handful of Christmases in the last number of years where instead of getting a gift for family or family member, what we've done is get money pooled up together and sponsored a family for the Christmas time, and they're able to buy an underprivileged family who's able to buy kids gifts, and then we got photos of those kids with the gifts that they were able to buy because we sent them money for the holidays. And that made me feel way better than if I were to get the newest iPhone or a pair of sunglasses or whatever the thing was that I decided that I had to have that year, or whatever the thing is, right? I'm not a big gift person, so I guess maybe that's a bad example for me. But the more that you give, the more that you get. I truly feel like that. If you're somebody who's able to give more than you receive, the karma is really going to come back around and come back for you. So number 30, the best way to show you value someone is by being present. Man, this one's a good one. I think the reason that I put this on here is because in the year 2026, there's a lot of times where I'll go out to eat, and maybe it's because I was born in the 90s, and I'll see people like sitting there, 2 people on a date or, out to eat together. And they're both just sitting on their phone and they don't say a single word to each other the whole time that they're out. And personally, for me, I guess I'm of the opinion that if you're showing somebody that you truly like love and care and value them, you're going to be incredibly present with them. You're going to look at them in the eyes. You're going to show them that you care. You're going to, be there, actively listen and be inquisitive, ask questions, get to know them, whatever the thing is. And that to me is like the greatest gift that you give somebody. I guess love language is quality time. And maybe that's why I think that way. At the end of the day, the more present you can be when you're with your family, whether you're in your house, out of your house, wherever that is, being present with them is just so critical. it shows that that person or that thing that you're doing matters. Number 31. Last one, 31. Let's round it out. If you want to know what someone values, look at the way they spend their time and look at the way they spend their money. Yeah, dude, those are, that's what you value, dude. If you look at your bank account and you're seeing high car payments, high mortgage, low amount of money spent on, health or family or whatever, that's what you care about. If you spend all your time in the garage working on your cars, or if you spend all of your time with your kids at sporting events on the weekend, that's what you care about. If you spend all your time at work, if you spend all of your money, flying general aviation planes, those are the things that you care about. It's pretty black and white and it's pretty simple. And it's funny, I end up getting on coaching calls with people, whether they tell me that they want to get healthier and they want me to coach them. I'll kind of ask them, like, what do you spend your time or your money on? And people will start telling me that their health is important to them now. And the thing is that's not really true, because people aren't willing to invest the time or the money into their health. And those people, unfortunately, I'm not going to work with you, and that's at the end of the day, that's okay. We're not for everybody, for the record. But if you're somebody who values your life and your mobility and your movement and your health, and you value your family and you value, all these other things, I think that you start to see, like, hey, the way that you spend your money and the way that you spend your time are going to reflect that. And at the end of the day, those are the ways that you're going to leave your footprint on the people around you. That's the way that you're going to, give somebody the gift that nobody can take away, which is your time. And it's incredibly important, I think, in my opinion, to value and cherish that and to use that resource appropriately. So that is, my gosh, we went on a rant today. This is all I got for you guys. Again, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day whenever you end up listening to this. If you listen for this long and you have listened to any of our podcasts, or maybe you're a psychopath and you've listened to all 121 at this point, please, I only ask you, don't be a lazy ass. Leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us grow. It helps us continue to improve. All you have to say is podcast good. You don't even need to leave a comment, actually. If you haven't left us a Google review before, if you haven't gone on and send us a message, you can leave a comment on a Instagram post and say, hey man, we appreciate it, or send me a direct message. Between you guys and I read every single one that we get, the good and the bad, even the ones that are trying to get me to buy their SEO optimization. I'm on to you guys. Not super into that, but we read all of them. I truly want to continue to bring value to you guys as well. We've got some interesting podcast guests that are lined up here. I'm not sure when we're going to get them on, but we've got a few kind of in the hopper that I'm looking to have in the next couple of weeks. So hopefully you don't have to listen to me sit here and talk by myself the next time an episode drops. But until the next one, remember, you don't stop playing because you get old. You get old because you stop playing. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.